Hi, my name is Matt from BuyBotPro, and today I'm going to be doing you a full walkthrough of the BuyBotPro tool. So before we get into it, I'm going to explain a little bit about what it is exactly and give you a little bit of history. So BuyBotPro is all about deal analysis. That's its prime functionality, and it came out in 2018. Prior to that, there wasn't really any tool in the space at all that did anything remotely like what BuyBotPro does. Of course, there was the Amazon calculator. There's little bits that give you, scraps of information about the product, but ultimately there wasn't anything that compiled everything that you needed to know about the product that you were looking at. And then 2018, boom, BuyBotPro comes on the scene. It is the world's first deal analysis tool of its kind, and since then we've been the leaders of innovation in this space. Everything deal analysis, a lot of the features that you see here. Invented by us. Other tools that use anything that's similar, they would have definitely got inspiration from us in one form or another. So BuyBotPro, as I say, it's all about deal analysis, telling you absolutely everything you need to know about any product that you look at on Amazon. Obviously, once you've sourced a product, you need to know if it's actually going to work out for you, if it works out on Amazon, and you need to know all of the nitty-gritty stuff behind that product to make sure that you are making a good purchasing decision. And BuyBotPro is going to help you with that. And on the flip side of things, if it is a bad product, it's going to help you avoid bad buys, which is still a win for you because it means that you don't lose any money or get your account suspended or whatever it may be. So what I'm going to do is show you the main extension first. This is the main way that you're going to be using BuyBotPro, and I'm going to work my way from the top of the panel through to the bottom. I'm going to cover and pretty much everything that we're going to see in it, and then we're going to move on to some other bits and pieces to do with BuyBotPro. So we're going to start off with the calculator. So this is the main thing that you'll be using in the software. It's quite simple. Just enter in the buy price, sell price, tap analyze, and it will basically work out everything for you within a matter of seconds. Now, we have the dashboard. In order to activate this section, this is the only part of BuyBotPro, by the way, that you need to link up to your Amazon Seller Central account. The rest of it works without the need to link it up to Seller Central. It sort of like works independently from that. The data it will just get, as being on this item page, it will get that data from, all manner of sources, work it out, and give you it all here. The only bit, as I say, that you need to link up to Seller Central is the dashboard, because that information is completely dependent on your Seller Central. So all you do is follow any of these login prompts, and it will tell you if an item is hazardous, if you're eligible to sell, and if the product is considered to be a dangerous good. Obviously, if you're enrolled in the dangerous goods program, it's going to factor that in here. If you're not eligible, if you are, it will show that with an indicator. That's something I will show a little bit later on, simply because basically the Seller Central account I have to link up to, it's just more of a test one. So a lot of what's going to get returned for me in this instance will be ineligible, but I'll show you how BuyBotPro can help you get auto and gated in whatever category. So that's something I'll show a little bit later on, but that's all dependent on your Seller Central account. The alert section, this is dependent on the product. Now the dashboard and alerts are like your make or break factors with the item. If you saw that, say you weren't eligible and you're not planning to get gated in that category, then you probably won't go ahead with it. If it has an IP issue, for example, it's something that you definitely wouldn't go ahead with. Now this, as I say, is dependent on the product, so you can see if it's multiple, if there's any IP issues. So this is basically if the brand allows third parties like you and me to resell this product. If you're likely to be liable for any oversized charges, if Amazon are known to share the buy box, and how many variations there are. Now, it's very simple the way that all of this is presented to you. It's a traffic light system. So red will mean no, bad news, something negative. Green is yes, positive news. And orange is you need to do a bit more of your own due diligence. The reason why it's orange is because basically it's not 100% clear. And most of the time, this will actually be because Amazon don't even know themselves. So if you saw orange for, say, the IP radar, Amazon isn't sure on if there's any IP issues with that brand. Now, the great thing about BuyBotPro that you won't get with any of the deal analysis tool is that it actually has the largest IP database of any tool out there for Amazon sellers. And that is partly because We are partnered up with a sister company called Getting Suspended. They help clients with all manner of issues regarding suspensions. Therefore, they become aware of problematic brands and they share their info with BuyBotPro. So it does monitor a massive database of IP, sort of like alerts and such like that. Now, next we have the detail sections. This is all of your numbers. The key things in here will be obviously working out your break even, the ROI, the profit. You can change the amount of months of storage fees that you wanted to take into account. So right now it's on 1, but I could change that to like 5 or whatever it is it needs to be. The great thing about this, as well as I get a real understanding of how much exactly is getting spent on this product, because I can hover over the total costs here and get a breakdown of everything that's being taken into account. So all of the referral fees, FBA fees, that's taken directly from Amazon. So if they were to do any changes on their end in regards to these fees, it gets taken into account straight away. And yeah, anything else that you add into your settings, for example, which I'll show you a bit later on, that gets taken into account here as well. So that's all of your number work. You've got a summary of, you know, what's going on BSR wise and price wise. This you can delve into much more detail with other features in BuyBotPro, but this is just a summary of, you know, what's going on with the buy box, price changes, the Amazon price, the top FBA, FBM price, the BSR and so forth. So that's just a summary of that. This discount section, that's just if, say, we went to a particular store and we have a membership with them that gives us 10% off it. And of course, we can just take 10% off of the buy price. But if we can't be asked to work that out, then tap 10% and it will apply that discount. And obviously, it will recalculate our ROI and profit. You have the BuyBotPro AI analysis section. So this is the famous confidence score. So this has artificial intelligence behind it that basically will tell you what BuyBotPro thinks of the product that you're looking at. So it will tell you what exactly it thinks and give you a score. So it's given me 70.50%. And then when you hover over it, gives you the top 3 things to consider if you're to go ahead with this item. So it's letting me know that Amazon are on the listing, so I might want to take a look at you know, Amazon as a competitor, have a look at the buy box possession rates and so forth. But other than that, there's a good ROI and good profit on this product. And it gives me a suggested purchase quantity as well. So if I was like, well, how many do I buy? BuyBotPro can actually help me out with this. So it's going to use the entire analysis to give me a figure on how many it thinks I should buy. Now, it doesn't just generate this randomly. Of course, it's using the entire analysis, and there's a couple of parameters in the settings that it will use as well to produce this number. So it's really helpful. We can take that suggestion on board completely, or we can use it as a starting point to, you know, figure out our own quantity that we want to go ahead with. But it gives us a good idea based on the analysis that we have. We've got the estimated sales calculators. This gives us an idea of previous, current and future sales for the item. Now, again, this is just an estimate, but it's very good at, you know, producing the estimates for any given product that you look at on Amazon. Now, the middle box is for the current sales. That's based on the last 30 days. If you hover over this, it will give you a breakdown of the monthly sales over the last 12 months. BuyBotPro gets this data through several inbuilt algorithms and taking data from several sources, one of the main ones being Keeper. So there's quite a lot of Keeper that is Keeper data that is used within BuyBotPro. So if you are on the fence of, well, do I need both Keeper and BuyBotPro? Not really, because in terms of, say, for example, the things like the charts, data comes from Keeper to produce you know, it gets taken into account for those charts and things like that. It gets taken into account here. So this is the, as I say, the current sales over the last 30, based on the last 30 days. We have the previous 90-day average sales for the item, and then it uses all of this. And again, this is where the algorithms and such come in to give us a prediction of average sales over the next 90 days. Now, if we see that there's more in the future than we have in the past, then chances are things are looking quite good for this item. It's, you know, predicted to do quite well in future. So that's it. That's a good thing. Obviously, if you saw where it's quite a low number compared to current and previous, then it looks like, you know, this item's on the way down. We then have the competition analysis. So this is going to show us a list of the top 10 sellers on the listing. and give us a bit more info as to their stock levels, the price that they're selling for, and if we were to sell at these prices, this is how much profit it would make, ROI, to give us an idea. And it also gives us delivery dates as well. So this is quite important because you can see if you potentially have an edge over your competitors, because obviously a major factor as to what gets taken into account as to who wins the buy box all comes down to how fast you can get that product to the customer. Obviously, if you're an FBA seller, then it's not that hard for you because obviously Amazon are fulfilling it for you. If you're merchant fulfilled, obviously if you have a speedy courier by your side, then that's a good thing. But obviously if you want to see if you can offer faster delivery than say this seller here, then you stand that bit more chance of winning the buy box. So it's quite useful information to know. You can also see the amount of reviews that the seller has had and the positive feedback percentage for that seller. If you are an FBA seller there and you're not too concerned with merchant fulfilled, you can toggle this to Prime only and it will just show the FBA results. So if there's any merchant fulfilled sellers, it will just remove them and then bring up any FBA sellers that were below that top 10. The reason why it just shows the top 10 is because obviously these are the main ones you want to focus on when you are competing on this listing. Below it gives us a total of the stock that there is here, and then it will give us an insight into the grander scheme of things by telling us the total amount of Prime and merchant fulfilled sellers. Now, something that you can do with this, which is quite cool, this will help you a lot with storefront stalking. So let's say, for example, I click on this seller's stock level, it will take me through to that seller's store. And we have the quick look box, which I'll explain a little bit later on, and the manual sourcing accelerator, which is again something I'll explain a little bit later on, but it gives us some information about the products that this person is selling. Now, this can help us a lot with storefront stalking, and it's kind of helping us with reverse sourcing at the same time. So we get inspiration from this seller of the things that they're selling, and obviously they're selling these things for a reason. So we might say, hey, this looks like a good one, so let's see where we can find that, for example. But what you get here that you won't get usually with the manual sourcing accelerator, because it's a completely kind of like different way that you use it, but when you're on another seller's store, if you tap store details, you can see more about that seller's store, the top brands and top categories that they're selling. So it's really great for gathering inspiration as to products that you may want to then look to sell. But that's something that you get through the competition analysis, or if you just visit a seller's store the normal way by clicking them on the list of sellers. You then have the charts, but I'll explain them as we look at the bigger charts to the side here. What we have here is the buy box statistics table. So this is going to help us understand buy box possession rate. So tap a day range to trigger this, and then it will tell us which sellers have had the buy box and for what length of time, who's had the most possession. Obviously, in this case, Amazon have had it 90% of the time, with the next seller on 3%, 2%, 1%, and so forth. We can see if they're an FBA seller or not. It's a tick if they are. You get an insight into their positive feedback rating and the reviews that they've had, and you can see when they last won the buy box. So if you see that a certain seller won it an hour ago, and then the next one you see that like everyone else has won it like a month ago and so forth, obviously that one seller has such a good hold over that buy box, and that's a major factor as to if you even want to go ahead with the item. Because if, say, you look at a product and someone is clearly hogging the buy box on that listing, then if you were to join the listing, you're reliant on, if someone was to choose you individually from the list of sellers, winning the buy box, unless you've got a good repricer by your side. There's a bunch of other factors that go into it. If you've got a good repricer, good stock levels, competitive price, really good feedback, good Amazon account health, maybe you stand a chance. But this gives you an insight as to what kind of a chance you do actually stand. So you can change the day range just to see who's had it for the most amount of time over different periods. If you see that one seller's had it consistently over all of the time ranges that you are looking at, then chances are it's going to be quite hard to win that buy box. But it's really useful to know. You can see if it's shared equally, or if one person or a couple of people hold it more. It's quite useful in that respect. Now, you have an export data section, so you can actually link up as many Google Sheets as you want to BuyBotPro, and you can export information to a linked Google Sheet. So you can have whatever Google Sheet for whatever function that you want it for, and then just give the sheet name, the sheet button, a tap to export it to whichever linked Google Sheet you want. So if I give this a tap right here, it's going to send it to my test sheet. So it's just a snapshot of the analysis results that we've got at this moment in time. So here's a little bit of what it would look like. So this is the one that we've just been looking at. And as I say, it's a snapshot of all of the analytical information about that product, which is quite useful if, say, you had a sheet for Q1, 2, 3, 4, a sheet of stuff that very nearly makes the cut that you want to check up on in a few weeks' time or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's just a really cool function. This Skewify bit right here, I'm going to talk about this a bit later on. We'll cover integrations a little bit later down the line. We've got the multi-market analyzer, which gives us an insight into what the product is looking like in other marketplaces, because it could be that if it's not selling well in this marketplace and it is doing better in another one, maybe there's more profit there. We get a quick look into that, and maybe we do sell in that marketplace. So it gives us the buy box price for that marketplace, the BSR of the item, and if we were to sell at this price, how much profit we would make, ROI, break even, and so forth. These colors, by the way, are indicators as to what type of seller they are. So green is for FBA, orange is for Amazon, gray is for merchant fulfilled, and if you see blue, that's merchant fulfilled prime. Where it's blank, it's either because there is some kind of error on Amazon's part, or there is no product, this product isn't selling in that marketplace. You've got the exchange rate down here as well, which is updated hourly. You have the ROI table, which is a way of helping you achieve your goals. So if, say, you wanted to achieve 40% ROI, you need to sell this item for $22.74 to achieve that, and you'd make $6.50 profit. Or what you've got up here as well is a custom table. So if you wanted to make £3.25 profit, it will then tell you the ROI and what price you need to sell for in order to achieve both of those things. You've got some average statistics right here for the FBA price, Amazon price, new price, buy box price, BSR, over different time periods. And so what obviously you're looking for there is consistency, because if it's very inconsistent, you might join the listing thinking you're going to sell at one price, but then you might end up selling for another price because it's very, choppy, and you sell at a completely different price, whereby you may sell for a loss or for your break even or whatever. We then have the IOSS section. So this is predominantly for UK sellers. If you are selling into European marketplaces, it makes us aware of the VAT rates in those countries, how much exactly that would cost us, and then of course profit and ROI if we were to sell in those marketplaces. The manual source accelerator I'll cover a little bit later on. Same with the wholesale function. The VA toolbox I'll do a little bit later on. You've got some quick links to, say, eBay, Google, and different parts of Seller Central and a notes section. Let's go into the charts. So this is the main sales chart. This is where you get an idea of the entire history of this product. Now, this is super, super useful as it's a visual representation of everything that's happened to this product, and we can use this to help us identify what's happened in the past, what's happening currently, to help us predict the future for this item. We can check for trends, consistencies, inconsistencies, and so much. We get so much from this chart. Now, if you are brand new to all of this, it might just look like a load of lines to you, but what's really good about this is that you can actually break it down and observe it sort of like factor by factor. So you have the keys here for the lines that you see, and you can actually toggle some of these off to get a clear understanding of what exactly it is that you're looking at. So it might be that you just look at one factor at a time, then add the rest in. So for example, if you were, and as you hover over any point, you can see a breakdown of what exactly was happening at that point in time. So as you can see there, Amazon and the buy box line are lining up, the prices are matching. So for the most part, Amazon have actually had the buy box, so that's something that can be observed. Often a cause for winning the buy box is because someone has set the lowest new price on the listing, so you can see if that is a factor that is contributing to that, or you can sort of see what kind of pricing people are setting that's like the new lowest one. And what you can actually do is compare it with this break even line, which is the turquoise one here, which is your break even. As you change any pricing and your break even updates, it will update on this line as well, so you can see if you're at risk of anything selling near your break even or even below your break even. If you saw, say, the buy box price line dip below the break even, you know, that poses a risk of you selling below your break even, because it has happened before. So that's just an example of that. You've got the FBM pricing here, FBA pricing, BSR. And if we look at BSR in a bit more detail down here, I'll explain more about what you're looking for on that line. But yeah, you get everything you need to know about the product on this table. If you change the day range, you can look at this information for different periods of time. So you've got different ones there, all time. If you click and drag, you can zoom into a certain section to look at that in more detail. And then below this, you might be wondering what this bar is. That is the sales heat map. That is a BuyBotPro original feature, exclusive to this software. You won't see anything like this anywhere else. This is a summary of how well the item is selling. So it works similar to the temperature on a weather forecast. The redder the better. So what you want is as much red as you can possibly get. Where you see a dark patch like this is a period of really intense sales. Where you have white, this is where sales slowed right down. Maybe it was selling only a couple or none at all. Where you see orange, it's selling okay. So obviously you want as much red on this line as possible. If you had it over the course of, say, 365 days like this, you can see when the item does better. So funnily enough, it actually looks like in November, December, which is the height of Q4, it's a lot more orangey there. But for the remainder of the year, it seems to be doing quite well. So strangely, this is kind of the opposite to what you might find with a lot of products, whereby they do really well around Christmas and then might die down a bit for the rest of the year. But it looks like this is doing the opposite. But yeah, that's the sales heat map. You then have the offers and reviews chart, so it's showing new offers. So this is new offers that have joined the listing. If you saw this completely drop off and die down, it could be indicative of IP issues or something going majorly wrong with the listing. Maybe, you know, it's just drastically dropped in popularity, so people aren't joining it. So obviously what you're looking for here is consistency. You can see the reviews and the ratings as well and how that's changed over time. This is the BSR and subcategory BSR chart. So this is a focus chart on just BSR. The green line will be the same as the one that you've got over in the main sales chart, but it's useful to have that there to compare it with the pricing to see if there's any similarities, any trends, consistencies, inconsistencies. So the BSR line is how the BSR has fluctuated over time. What you're looking for ideally is for it to be as close to the bottom of the chart as possible, because obviously the smaller the number, the better the BSR. So obviously number 1 is the best BSR ever. Let's say there's 100,000 items in this category. That's the worst BSR if you saw it at 100,000. But obviously because it's such a massive category, if say you saw something towards, if it was say 2,073, that can still be quite a good product. So you're looking for it to be as close to the bottom of the chart as possible, and you're looking for a lot of movement. The reason why I say this is because for every bit of movement, even the teensiest little squiggle, that means there's been at least one sale for the product. So lots of squiggles equals lots of sales, and then that just reaffirms what you see with the estimated sales calculator and so forth. This will also show you the subcategory BSR as well. So you can see how well it's doing in the overall toys and games category, but you can also see how well it's doing in the building sets category. So you can get an understanding of, you know, is this possibly the best sort of like building set that I'm looking at? Is it consistent in the building set subcategory specifically? You've got averages tables here, which is a visual representation of the average statistics right here. So it's a clear way of understanding if there is consistency in these factors right here. And then you have the seller position chart, which is a visual representation of the competition analysis. So this is everything that is on the main sort of like panel. For those of you that already have BuyBotPro, I'm just going to quickly dive into the settings. So here is where you can account for prep fees, bundle fees, shipping costs. You can set your ROI method. There are numerous methods in BuyBotPro. Just look at the sums and choose the one that appeals the most to you. If you're not sure, method 1 is the most basic way to work out ROI. If you're in the UK, we recommend method 4 because it takes a lot more into account, so it's a much more accurate ROI. If you're in the US, we recommend method 5 because again, a lot more taken into account and it's all VAT exclusive. But look at the sum, see which one appeals the most to you and set that. It accounts for your VAT status as well. And this is like the most important bit of your settings. You then have some advanced settings where you can set things like what you want it to assume grocery VAT as, whether it be 0% or 20%, extra fees, your stock capital, which is your overall budget, and max buy count. So both of these factors affect the suggested purchase quantity. So it won't suggest an amount that exceeds the max that you're willing to buy in one go, quantity wise, nor will it suggest an amount that makes you spend more than 10% of your stock capital. You can enter in merchant fulfilled shipping costs. So if you were to switch the calculator to merchant fulfilled, so obviously it's going to remove the referral and FBA, it's going to remove the FBA fees and such from the total costs, because obviously you're not doing FBA, but then you just choose the shipping cost that you've set, or you can add one in here. This is where you link up your Google Sheets, and then you've got some personalization options, so you can customize if you want BuyBotPro Island to appear, which is this box right here, which is a summary of what you have in the main analysis panel. You can toggle certain charts, you know, how you want them, where you want them. This is the score adjuster setting, so this affects the confidence score. So you set your minimum profit that you want to achieve, minimum ROI, min and max BSR parameters, so it's going to factor that into account when it works out your confidence score. Then obviously you've got where you can link up Profit Protector Pro and Skewerify, which I'm going to talk about in a little while. So those are just some of the settings. Actually, let's cover the integrations now. So obviously, as I mentioned, BuyBotPro is linked with Profit Protector Pro and Skewerify. So Profit Protector Pro being the repricing tool. This integration allows you to set up an item for repricing in advance. So usually you'd add your item to Seller Central. It then syncs from Amazon into Profit Protector Pro. So it takes time to do that. Then it's whenever you actually get round to setting your min, max prices and strategies. Obviously that can take time. Whereas if you do it at the same time when you've analyzed, it's already set up. It'll add it to Profit Protector Pro straight away. Then all it needs to do is grab the SKU from Amazon and it'll start repricing straight away. So you can set your min price, max price strategy. It's got the buy price already there because you've got it in BuyBotPro. So you just set it up however it is that you want it. So whatever it may be, like that, save in Profit Protector Pro, and it will get sent straight through to your Profit Protector Pro account. Already set up for you, so it just gets you repricing a whole lot sooner. The other integration is with Skewerify, so this is this one right here. So if you link up Skewerify, which is an inventory management and profit analytics tool, link that up to BuyBotPro, and you can tap this button. It sends this item all the way through to Skewerify, so it's there straight away. All the cost of goods are already worked out for you because BuyBotPro's worked them out, so it saves you from again waiting for an item to sync from Amazon through to your Skewerify account. Then you have to manually go and enter in cost of goods at whenever it is that you get around to doing that. But here you can do multiple jobs at the same time. So those are the integrations. Right, I've gone ahead and logged into the dashboard, so I'm going to quickly show you what's in here. So obviously it's the same kind of indicators for hazmat dangerous goods, but then obviously I'm not eligible to sell this item, it's red. But what we can do is get BuyBotPro to hopefully auto-ungate us. So it's going to attempt to ungate us in this category. And obviously, if it can, great, it will show us green, we're eligible to sell. And if we cannot sell this item, if it's still not eligible, then obviously Amazon need more details, they need more information. They need us to meet the specific requirements to get ungated. So all we would then do is tap this link and it will give us a selling application for that brand or that category, and it will outline what exactly we need to do as well. So it's a way of cutting some corners and getting directly through to the bit on Amazon that we need to get to in order to do that. So it's really, really useful. And ultimately, if all of this was green, can I sell this? Yes or no? It'll obviously say whatever it is. We're not eligible, so we can't sell it. But when we are eligible, then we can sell the item. now let's move on to talk about the manual sourcing accelerator. So you can basically source and analyze at the same time on any retailer site you're on. So all you do to do that is, I'm on Argos, for example, I'm on this product, highlight and right click the title, tap BuyBotPro, the manual sourcing accelerator pops up, find the item that you're looking to sell. So it gives you some basic information. You can change the marketplace that you want to look for. You can do a search for another item in here if you want to, but tap BuyBotPro and then it comes up with the exact same panel that we just had. So yeah, you can analyze and source at the same time. If you're looking at a product with variations, it can be hard to decide which, for example, in this case of these Converse shoes, what color, what size do you go ahead with? Because there's so many, you might end up wasting your time on a color that no one wants or a size that no one wants. So the variations feature makes it really easy to decide which variations are the ones you want to pay more attention to. So on any item that has variations, you'll have this little bar right here, tap show variations, and you get this table. So this table will show you the ASIN, size, color, price, the sellers that are on that specific variation of the listing, and the review count of that particular variation. So you can search for a particular variation, or you can sort the table. So if I was to tap review, for example, once then twice, so it does it from highest to lowest. Typically, logically, the item with the most reviews is going to be the most popular. So I can see here, you know, size 4, 5, 11 seems to be the black one that is the most popular. You know, those are the ones I want to pay more attention to. But you also have some charts down below, so this makes it really easy to quickly establish right away, you know, the most popular size and color. So obviously it's black, size 4, 5, those are the highest ones, with 11 coming in third place there. So it makes it really easy to establish within seconds which variation is the most popular. So for me personally, this is one of my favorite features. This is something that you might end up spending hours doing otherwise if you haven't got this table, but this reduces that task down to literal seconds. So such a great feature. And now I want to show you the virtual assistant toolbox. So if you're new to Amazon, if you're new to BuyBotPro, then this is something that you might not get into right now, but you might look at in the future. So this is the VA toolbox. Let me just show you what it would look like when a virtual assistant goes to log in. Right, this is the VA toolbox without a virtual assistant logged into it. Now, as the subscription holder, what you want to do is come to VA Manager Login. So when you tap this this link, it takes you through to the VA management dashboard. Now, as the subscription holder, only you should have access to this. Your virtual assistant should never, ever be in here, because it's basically a section that's just for you. It's for you to manage your virtual assistants. So the dashboard is just a summary of what's been going on, total deals, total work time, latest deals that have been submitted, latest screenshots that have been taken. What we have is a virtual assistant course. If you tap on this, this is something you can give to your virtual assistant as well. It's basically a training tool whereby it will train your virtual assistant on how to use BuyBotPro, so that way you don't have to do it. There's also a section for you in here as well. So if you're thinking about recruiting a virtual assistant, everything entailed in that process, then there is this section for you right here, but you can give it to your virtual assistant and it will teach them how to use BuyBotPro. So we do the training, so you basically don't have to. Now, the VA toolbox consists of 4 sections. So if we tap virtual assistants, this is where you can add your virtual assistant. So you tap on this, enter their name and email, and that's what they'll use for logging into the VA toolbox section of BuyBotPro. You will have a list of virtual assistants here. It will tell you the total work time, total deals, total screenshots, the last time they submitted a deal, and so forth. What you and your virtual assistant will need to do is follow this link right here to download the VA monitoring tool. The reason why is because this allows the screenshots to be taken of what they're doing when they are working. So let me just show you what your virtual assistant will do when they come to BuyBotPro. So what they'll do is they'll come onto the VA toolbox once they've logged in using your email and license key. They come here, enter in their email, tap save, and it will then logged them in. They've started work for the day. Now, when they tap start, the timer will start going. So this is going to monitor their work time. Then as they analyze and find deals that they want to share with you, they then just tap submit deal once they've analyzed. Now, whilst they are working, it won't make them aware of this. Like it won't say, hey, I'm taking a screenshot, but it will take a screenshot every minute. So that way you can check up on them in the VA management tool, in the screenshot section, to make sure that they're doing what you're paying them to do. So it's a real good way of, checking on your virtual assistants and, ensuring that they are working out for you. So as I say, it takes these screenshots every minute. Obviously, when they are done with work, they'll then tap finish. The screenshots will also stop as well. So yeah, that is what they'll do from their point of view when using the VA toolbox. Now, you can see the deals that they've submitted here in more detail. You can also get a detailed view of their time logs as well, so you can see the start and finish times, the deals they submitted in that time, the screenshots taken in that time. So you can understand their work shifts. You can set the criteria that you want them to adhere to when they are analyzing deals, and what you set here is what they have in the VA toolbox right there. So it reminds them of what they need to achieve in order to then submit the deal to you. So that's really, really useful. And now let's move on to looking at the wholesale function. So the wholesale function is basically where you can have BuyBotPro analyze wholesale sheets in bulk for you. So without something like this, you would have to analyze everything in the wholesale sheet one at a time, but upload the sheet to this function right here and it will analyze every single deal. So let's go ahead and import a sheet. So I've uploaded a wholesale sheet, and then all you need to do is map the column. So what you have in the options here is determined by the spreadsheet itself. So you need to make sure that the sheets you're getting from wholesale suppliers are actually quality and do have the important bits in them. So for example, the product code, marketplace, and so forth. So we're going to do barcode, the marketplace, title, that title, by price, price per unit. And then obviously with wholesale, the prices that they'll present to you will be excluding VAT. But if you want BuyBotPro to work out the VAT for you, then you can enter in obviously 20 or just keep that as 0, whatever it is that you want. And then tap preview. So it will show you what rows are valid and which ones are invalid. If they're invalid, it will probably be because something like the barcode is incorrect or just not there, like in the case of this one. Then save and send to queue, and then it will start analyzing everything in the sheet for you. So here's an example of one that I completed a while ago. So this is what you get in the results. Basic and essential details about each item in the sheet. You can sort by various factors. So I could sort by profit, what's going to make me the most, down to what's going to make me the least. We've got some filters in here, so we can set products that a minimum profit of, maximum profit, minimum ROI, maximum ROI, minimum, maximum buy price, sell price, break even, confidence score, BSR. And then if we want no oversized items to appear in the results, no multiple, private label, if Amazon are in the buy box, if Amazon have been selling that item in the last 90 days, we can just tweak these filters as we see fit based on what we want from a deal. And then we can also select products for a detailed analysis as well. If we tap the add button right here, we can add that to the detailed analysis, and this is what we get. We get more information about that item. We can of course analyze the BuyBotPro right here and now on the page. Something else we get as well, when we look up literally any item on Amazon, we get the quick look box, which does what it says on the tin, gives us a quick look at the item. So if we were sort of like looking for inspiration of, what items we might want to focus on, the quick look box is going to help us out massively. So if we look up Lego, we can see, which one has got a good BSR, preferable competition. We can open up the charts if we want to, and we can open up BuyBotPro. So we can do the analysis on this page as well if we wanted to. And don't forget that BuyBotPro has a mobile app that's part of the subscription as well. So that's called BuyBot Go. You can download that from the Android or iOS store. And basically, that's all for retail arbitrage. So you can scan barcodes with the app and it will give you all of the analysis results on the go. So if you're doing retail arbitrage, there's the app for that. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is the pricing. So obviously if you've already signed up to BuyBotPro, then you will know all about this, but I just wanted to quickly run through the difference between the price plans. So they are all virtually the same. The massive difference being obviously the light package. This is a good introduction. With this one, you're not grandfathered into the price. There's no VA functionality, no suspension safeguard, no wholesale, and you're limited to 1,200 clicks of the analysis button per month. You have 3 device licenses, but in all of the other plans you are grandfathered into the price, which means you're locked into the price that you sign up for, meaning that you don't have to pay anything more for the price for the plan that you're on for as long as you stick with BuyBotPro. So even if the prices go up, you will still be paying the price that you signed up with. You get the VA functionality, you get the suspension safeguard, and that's basically like taking out insurance for your Amazon account. So this is something that's unique to BuyBotPro. It's basically where if you happen to, and hopefully you don't, but if you happen to get into a bit of a tangle with Amazon and your account's been suspended, for example, if you get into anything like that, the suspension safeguard team can actually help you out by helping you put a plan of action in place to help you get your account reinstated. And the Getting Suspended team have actually had a really good track record of getting people's accounts reinstated through the plans that they put together. They've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of sellers at this point do that. You get the BuyBot wholesale. On this plan, it's 10,000 analysis per month, and then obviously these are unlimited. The licenses are how many devices you can have BuyBotPro on. That includes BuyBot Go as well. So you've got 3, 10, 15, and 32. So the plan that you choose is just based on which plan includes everything that you would want. So yeah, that's some of the key things within the plans to look out for. Other than that, the rest of it is the same, and obviously differing prices. So there's something here for every type of seller. So it might be that this is for you as a beginner, but then obviously if you have a bigger company and stuff, you've got lots of VAs working for you, it might be that this plan is the one for you. Thank you for joining me on this presentation. If you need any help, we have a YouTube channel, TikTok. The support that we offer is 24/7. So if you reach out to the support team either via the chat on the website or by emailing info@buybotpro.com, the team will be more than happy to help you at literally any time. As I say, it's 24/7. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you soon.